Hello everyone, my name is Mumbles, and this is Killing Floor 2. I should be very careful in what I ask for, because I was complaining about the Hell on Earth, and now we got another Hell on Earth. It's Evacuation Point, which is not a map that I play very often, so I don't anticipate that this will go well. Some of our other objectives include using the M16, which is ideal because I want to level Commando anyway. It's not ideal in that I don't think I'm good enough with Commando for Suicidal, let alone Hell on Earth, but I mean, hey, we'll try. We'll try, and we'll also try the impossible and stay kind of positive throughout this if we can. That is becoming very difficult to do already. I mean, we just got completely owned there, so... It's my bad, though, I really should have probably just shot the bloat and try to get through there, since I knew that guys were coming behind me. But, you know, if nothing else, we can very quickly run it back. I got a little bit of time to kill. And, yeah. I believe we have to kill quarter pounds as well. So that's probably... That might be happening on, a Wave 2, to be honest, on Hell on Earth. But first we gotta get there, obviously. So we're gonna have to try to actually up our game here a little bit. If it's not going to be working with Commando, which, like I said, it might not, because I've not really played Commando on this difficulty ever, then we'll just switch to something else. And try to see if we get a little bit more luck. Because there is a little bit of luck involved. Again, I don't really want to box myself in a corner, because that is not going to go super well. So we're going to just, try... I know that there's, guys coming from that side as well, but the thing is, there's going to be guys coming, everywhere, as it turns out, because there's, 33 dudes in just Wave 1 right now. And it started with even more, so it's kind of unavoidable that there are going to be Zeds coming from, every direction. The one thing that makes this map a little frustrating to actually play is that it has, hallways in between the little, zones where you can fight. So this is kind of a great starting point because we can, kite around an object here. We still will get flanked for the reasons that I just mentioned, which is a lot of entrances. But the problem you might, face with this, basically, is that if I get driven out of position here, I'm kind of guaranteed to die. For all intents and purposes, because in a hallway, as we just saw, getting caught by something, and we were able to, fight off the guy there. I'm gonna learn from my mistake and try to eliminate the bloat. Apparently, you know, that, gurney was just there, so... And the bloat still survived as well, so that's just really bad, to be honest. I mean, they're not that, weak to explosive damage, so really I shouldn't be surprised at all. How many did we get? We got 27 out of the... I didn't actually check what the wave started with, but that's still, pretty poor, all things considered. So I'm thinking we're definitely gonna, keep trying. I'm just really thinking, do we want to even try with Commando? Because Commando Wave 1, I don't think is that great. Varmint Rifle is definitely not the strongest gun in the game, by a long shot. And even with other Commando weapons, I like the M16, but it still, kind of suffers from a lot of issues. And it feels kind of silly to just, you know, keep going back to perks that I've already played a lot of, especially when there's clearly, an incentive to play Commando so that I would get the XP. But it's really not working. We can't even get through Wave 1 right now. And I'm sure if I really put my mind to it, we could figure it out, but... It's just not working. This ain't it, Chief. So I'm just going to take the easy way out and try to see if we can complete the map, to be honest. Because, I mean, even with Firebug, there's a chance that we fail. I'm not that familiar with all the spawn points on this map to begin with. And I'm not referring to the player spawn points, such as this one, but more the Z spawn points. Like I said, I do know that there's a lot of hallways and such, which make, traversal somewhat annoying. So it's one of those things where if we get, an area, I don't think we're moving towards it, unless it's, fairly close, or at least it seems fairly close. Because it's kind of one of those where it seems like a surefire way to kill yourself, basically. You know, we're already getting overrun most of the time in the little arenas where we're fighting, let alone in a hallway, where they basically have, two options to come at us, either from the front or the back. And if they do both, then we're just kind of, dead to begin with. So that's not that much fun. I would like to avoid that if at all possible. But yeah, if it takes us a little longer, as a consequence, to get every one of our objectives... then so be it. I'll do this thing with Firebug, just so that it's done, and then I'll switch to some other map and play Commando on there. I mean, with Commando, we ideally want to get to Wave 2 to be able to even get the M16, so we're going to try to do that, basically. I might lower the difficulty, might just pick a map that I like, just for a little bit of fun. But like I said, we're going to try to be positive today. It's a huge thing that I'm trying to do here. You know, complaining is fun every now and then, don't get me wrong, but I do think that the internet has done, quite a bit of damage to people in that regard, because a lot of people think that complaining is kind of the same as like having an opinion, when really, no, not really. Complaining, again, there's a legitimate reason to do it, and I think that it happens to everyone at a certain point in their life, that you encounter some kind of issue where you're just like, I just need to vent, and not in the Among Us way, so you just like end up kind of talking somebody's head off for, I don't know, upwards of 45 minutes about some like really minor issue, you know, something that got your goat, basically. I think that's okay every now and then. The problem is that on the internet, it's so easy to just mind that as content, to just basically turn that into who you are, and kind of like pretend like, oh yeah, like what I do is I complain. And I think it's kind of sad when that happens. So I'm gonna try to stay away from that as much as I can. Because, you know, like being positive is kind of a good thing at the end of the day. You tend to attract more like-minded individuals into your life, since a lot of people that, you know, are feeling positive about stuff want to hang out with similar people, like people with similar attitudes. So we're gonna try to maybe do that. And obviously, if you're just constantly thinking like how bad everything is, then you're kind of like only going to notice that stuff. Like earlier when I kept dying as Commando, I could have been like, yeah, of course, it's always like the riders like grabbing me. And it's like, yeah, like sure, it's the riders because you're not dealing with them. Like it's pretty simple, man. And obviously the lesson there would be if we had like an infinite amount of time available to us, which unfortunately we don't, then I would just keep trying as Commando and eventually succeed, because it is doable. Like, many people have played this game on Hell on Earth, and many people actually play it a lot on Hell on Earth with Commando, among other things. They play with all sorts of perks that I don't even play. So it's not as if Commando is like actually unplayable on that difficulty. Far from it, in fact. It's just I haven't played enough of it to basically be able to pull it off yet. That's kind of a hat trick. Eventually, when it happens, like, it's gonna be pretty great, but we're not there yet. I hope to get there eventually, and I think eventually we will have to as well. I do think that perhaps it's going to be a little bit, like, more interesting and also perhaps slightly easier once we have our level 25 ability. Although I intend to also Prestige, so I don't think that we'll have it for long with Commando. But I mean, eventually we'll get the Prestige 5, and then, you know, it's gonna be there forever. There's still quite a bit of this wave left. Like, you would think, based on the peace and quiet right now, that it was all over, but there's still like 20-some guys left, dude. Fascinating. I mean, it's going decent right now. We're not doing completely awful in terms of ammo either. And once again, with Firebug, a perk that I played a lot more, somehow it's a lot more manageable. It's almost like if you know what you're doing in this game, then the game goes a little better for you. What a thought. I was gonna say, like, if this Crake was just gonna be there and shove his chainsaw into my bits, that would not have been fun. But thankfully, I don't know where he went. Maybe he had to go to the bathroom. Can you imagine going to the bathroom as a Scrake, though? Like, sure, you know, like, you got one hand, but it must be very uncomfortable. And, like, God help you if you use your chainsaw arm to try to do anything in the bathroom. Maybe that's why they're so angry. Like, I know I've had this bit before, but it was a couple months ago, so I think we can bring it back. But you ever think that the reason Scrakes are so mad is because, you know, like, they got a chainsaw hand? They can't do a lot of stuff in life. Like, I'm thinking the reason they're wearing the mask is because most of their face is just gone. Because, you know, like, their nose got itchy, and they decided to use their right hand to scratch it one time. And, I mean, you only get to scratch your nose one time with the chainsaw, let's put it that way. Because you're not going to have much of a nose left after. I like Scrakes as, like, a Wave 2 thing, because if you don't set them off, then you can just do that, and leave them till the end as, like, a little treat. You can make it, like, a nice one-on-one hot date with a gigantic man who has a chainsaw arm. I don't really see the benefit of having, like, a man with a chainsaw hand around the house, but if you have no man around the house and you want one, I guess it's an improvement. So, you know, I'm not gonna judge. And maybe chainsaws are just the thing that you're into. Like, the sound just does all sorts of things to your loins. Again, that's totally fine. You do you. I'm kind of thinking of just doing my usual loadout because I like it. But also I'm thinking, do we want to have a backup weapon? I kind of don't want to. I know it's just wave 3. I was going to say maybe there's no ammo boxes, but I see one just glimmering over there, so we're going to pick that up. It's not a lot, but it is something. We should probably, like, reload the gun, though, so that we can actually use it as a backup. I mean, it's just in there. We might be able to do that. It does have to go through this, this like, hallway here. The sky bridge, I suppose, which is not ideal, especially because I think I hear, like, some big guys. No, we're fine. Kind of okay, all things considered. I would love if we just, like, had an ammo box in here, but apparently no. I do hear a flesh pound, for sure. I'm trying to think, like, have I ever really, like, hung out in this spot? But I don't think so. Oh, that's unfortunate. That is a lot of bloats, huh? Oh, really? My man just dodged the blast wave. Again, no one likes flesh pounds because they get, like, super mad, but to be honest, when it's only just the flesh pound and, like, very few other things, it's kind of okay. When you can focus them down, it works. Gotta be a little careful with the ammo, because I think we're using a bit too much of it, like, right now. We need to remember that we have a backup weapon, but it only has, like, 6 shells in it, so it's not really going to do a whole lot for us. If we save one for ourselves, then, you know, we can go out with dignity, if you will. Let's try to abuse the ground fire a little bit more. And let's not forget to heal. I was gonna say, I really want the Siren gone, because she will actually remove even more of our ammo, and that is very, very bad for us when we already have so little of it. I mean, technically we have enough for every single enemy, and then some, right now, because we have Area of Effect. We will have to waste that on just that one guy, as it turns out. I believe there's a path, like, back here. Ooh. A couple of crawlers. I mean, I'm fine with that. And now we have infinite ammo if we get to use it. Apparently I did not hit the Siren. That's kind of what I was aiming for, but don't tell anybody. I mean, hey, all things considered, that went decently. And apparently we were so cognizant of our ammo issue that it never ended up being much of an issue. Always happy to see that. I mean, our armor is completely depleted, but, you know, you win some, you lose some. I had no delusions about actually getting through with, like, full armor there. It's doable. If any perk can do it, it's definitely Firebug, though. Like, the fact that you can stumble Zeds back if they attack you at close range just by pointing a flame weapon at them, that's pretty sick. Helps a lot. It's just, you know, when things are doing all sorts of animations, they don't care that much. I feel way less bad about selling the Dragon's Breath when there's so little ammo in it, let me tell you. You know, sometimes you sell a fully loaded gun, and you're just like, ugh, this is not a good feeling. Like, feel inefficient. Do I even want to be up here? I don't suppose this is, like, such a great position. I mean, we have an area. We're going to try to go over there because it does not seem that far away. Yeah, it's just, like, outside and to the right. I think that should be still okay. Honestly, these guys are, again, still kind of okay. Like, we got tagged a little bit, but I'm not going to mourn my 8 armor and 3 health. Like, a total of 11 damage is like, you know what, that's okay. That's more than fine, actually. I am surprised that even with the area, we only, well, you know, we only have, like, 700 extra dosh. For some reason, in my head, like, I thought we would have way more, like, left over. So there's some quarter pounds coming, which is good, because we need to kill those anyway. I believe, yeah, one of them should be dead. Oh, I guess he killed the second one. A little bit of infighting. Man, my man is, like, just jumping, dude. I think this quarter pound could have been, like, a basketball player. He got some proper, like, air. Did you see? Like, he could have touched that lamppost if he had any hands on him. Heard, like, a dude behind me as well. Okay, he's not raging, which is good. I was worried that he was already raging. I don't know if Scrakes can actually spawn raged at all. I don't think so, but then, like, I've probably encountered a few in my time. So I'm really not sure at this point. How long do you want to keep streaming for? Oh, I think we have the glitch again. They still haven't patched this, by the way, it seems. I went back and checked. The video is Fire Buggy Banter on my YouTube channel, you know, plug-in and whatnot. But I think what causes it is the Siren, like, doesn't actually, like, she destroys the projectile, but I think because of the coding, she doesn't destroy the fountain of flame that the projectile makes. So we will have, like, an infinite amount of fire in this zone now. Is it, like, as useful on, like, a regular game? Probably still very useful, considering that it doesn't cost us any ammo to do this. What should they do to fix this? They should probably just, like, look at the code and actually, like, think it through, how it works. We are taking, like, some huge amounts of damage, because these Edars are just refusing to get anywhere into our damaging field of fire. And then we're also, like, refusing to actually shoot them with anything, really. That area took, like, a very long time. I gotta say, like, I don't like this spot that much. Now that we've been in here for the entire duration of the area, I can safely say that I don't like it. They keep jumping over this railing, which just messes up, like, any amount of aim you may or may not have to deal with them. They also kind of, like, do wonky movements from this, this little, like, staircase over here. I mean, if I switch off of it, it doesn't do anything. So, technically speaking, you know, we can stop the abuse. Yeah, it's at least it's not, like, as much of a jank situation as I thought, because I was worried that if I would just alt-fire, even with another gun, it would still explodinate it. I don't know why I thought that, but, like, let's be honest, that would be giga jank. So we did get to the boss on Hell on Earth, which, again, with the amount of time I put into Firebug, should not be that surprising, but still, I'm gonna take a W when I get a W, and you can't take it away from me. You know who can take it away from me? Any boss that spawns right now, because they can probably kill me if they really put their mind to it. But let's not get into that. Again, a smart boy might use their 2,601 dosh to maybe, like, rebuy one of their weapons and throw it on the ground for additional ammo, but I also know that ammo outside of Patriarch is not really going to be an issue. And, you know, like, I have 42, like, thermite shots, I got, like, 32 flares, bunch of 9mm rounds. To be honest with you, like, that's a lot more of you know, resources than my health, because I only got 100 health. So if ammo is starting to become an issue with Kevin, then you're doing a great job of actually avoiding his attacks, which is great, but also, you know, he's eventually gonna get you. Obviously, he has an easier time getting you if you don't shoot back. But I'm just saying, like, your health is probably more of a bottleneck than the ammo for most of these boss fights, as it turns out. Oh, look at me just, like, neo-dodging every single bullet. You know, I say that, and then he just shoots me. I mean, we can't just keep doing this. We can't, like, this is an awful, like, spot to fight him. Because there is, like, no cover. I'm surprised that we were able to actually, like, stumble him there. I guess he was, like, not in the middle of an animation. I don't like the fact that Hans still does this thing where he just continues to go from animation to animation. Apparently, like, we're just gonna basically die because that one guy didn't want to get off of us. Is he... Oh, okay, his shield is broken now. I was gonna say, like, did we break it? Did we not break it? I mean, we got him. He is also one of the easier bosses for Firebug, let's be completely honest about this. So we got very lucky. And also, like, we killed him at the right time, because we would have died to all of those grenades. I believe we got the quarter pound stuff as well, so what I'm going to do real quick is throw, like, a tiny little pause in here once the ending screen comes up, and we'll go do, I don't know, maybe a hard game, just real quick, on, like, a map that I like, or maybe a random one. We'll figure it out, but I'll be back in a mo. We're back. I decided to pick Farmhouse, not so much because it's necessarily a map that I like, but mostly because I'm curious. It's one of the darker maps, and I'm curious with the new gamma settings how it's going to look like on video. So we'll see it. But yeah, I shifted the difficulty to hard because I'm just looking to essentially get the objective done and not really necessarily use my brain or like any like mind functions at all. I was gonna be, like, freaking out if the blow decided to come that way, where we just walked. But thankfully he didn't. This is probably not, like, a good way to level up Commando, obviously, like, kind of sticking to the lower difficulties. But, I mean, hey man, if that's what's manageable to me, and the fact that I missed, like, 4 of those headshots right there, I think should tell you the entire story about why we were having trouble earlier on Hell on Earth. I mentioned it, like, quite a while ago, but Commando being just all about aiming to the head, which, let's be real, a lot of the precision perks are all about that. Like, that's a fine concept, but I don't have to necessarily like it, and I think that's okay. I'm just saying, it's a little bit boring in this game that you have, like, I would say half of the perks that if you don't have DLC especially, because, you know, like, then it includes support as well, they're just kind of doing the same thing, but with different styles of weapons. But honestly, at the end of the day, turns out that probably Gunslinger having high damage, cheap ammo is just like the best combination for that stuff. Which is also, I don't think we need to buy ammo for this on just hard, by the way. I'm just saying, like, basically precision perks, I don't think they get much better than Gunslinger. Because Gunslinger has, like, the right combination of qualities to be, like, a fun precision perk. And you can still play projectile weapons with it. You still got the flare revolvers, you still got the winter bites, which shoot, like, actual projectiles. So if you want to, you know, run that style of gun, it's totally an option available to you, which is pretty great. I'm just saying that Commando is one of those weird ones where an assault rifle in any other game, you'd be, like, totally excited for. I mean, if this were Call of Duty, then this thing would probably be, like, the most popular gun. Well, this class of gun would be the most popular one, but in this game, it's more of a hindrance, because, you know, the thing is supposed to have, like, a rate of fire, and you do have, like, full auto available to you as, like, an option to shoot the gun. It's just infinitely worse doing that than actually, like, doing this thing that we're doing now, which is just, like, pop shooting everything. Going semi-auto and making sure that we got that trigger discipline. It's cool, because it's cheaper in terms of, you know, upkeep. You shoot less, therefore you spend less on ammo. Makes perfect sense. But it's not as much fun as when you just get to, like, blast your entire magazine into a horde of dudes. And it's kind of the issue that in this game, you never really want to do that with, like, Commando. Even with the minigun. That is, like, such a disappointing weapon, dude. You'd think that a minigun would be, like, pretty great at, like, controlling a horde, just because of the amount of damage it could, like, put down range without actually having to aim. But they decided to make it a very realistic depiction of a very unrealistic gun, whereby it has, like, insane recoil, and, you know, the caliber is not very high, so it doesn't actually do a whole lot of damage. And also, the ammo reserve is a thing, where, like, you know, it's a gun. You gotta reload it every now and then. Like, it doesn't have infinite ammo. I mean, it's very rare that in a video game a minigun has infinite ammo, but they often lack the reload animations for obvious reasons. Because that, you know, kind of adds to the fun of using it. I am not going to keep the bullpup, and instead we are going to grab the gun that we have to use, which is the M16, which is, you know, something that I would use anyway. And I suppose we can just get, like, kind of everything. So why were we unable to get this? I'm not sure. Sometimes this game has, like, some weird glitches. Yes, it's wave 3 already. We're about to start getting the damage on this. How much do we need, though? Because that's the thing. Oh, 9,000. I mean, I think in 2 waves we should definitely be able to do that. We'll see. Kind of enjoying the fact that we get to play outside, to be honest with you. But, you know, now we're going to go... Do we want to go back in? I guess for the XP we probably want to. I still need it, and even though it's not that much, it's still something. I guess we might as well. Plus, I mean, this spot, especially with anything explosive, is just real good. They don't really spawn up top here, so we just get to lob stuff downstairs and have a good time. I mean, we get to do it 14 times, plus another 5 with our own grenades. 19 explosives? Doesn't sound bad to me, to be honest. Why did you spawn here? I thought we had a deal. And the deal was you wouldn't spawn up top here. Like, the only thing I wanted to do was do this area and get the Fleshpound in the area, and he pushed us out of there as well. We haven't even gotten the chance to reload. This is, like, a very good spot, by the way, and we're doing an awful job of actually showcasing it. But then they're also just spawning behind us. Like, half of the wave so far has just, like, decided to come out of the walls and rooms up here. If nothing else, like, you know, we're getting the damage for sure. Maybe we didn't get the Fleshpound kill in the area, but we dealt damage to him with the one and only gun that we need to, so that's fine in that regard. I'm very curious what, like, the boss fight is going to be like, because I'm so used to getting the Hell on Earth bosses and being absolutely terrified. And now, you know, we probably stand, like, a legitimate chance to actually succeed, which is quite a nice feeling, let me tell you. And all it took was, you know, accepting that I'm a baby man and playing on, like, a much lower difficulty. Was that overkill? Like 1 grenade for a stalker? Maybe, but you underestimate my hatred for stalkers. Clearly you haven't watched enough of my videos to understand just how much I hate crawlers and stalkers. But then, I think that's, like, that opinion is the entire Killing Floor 2 community. So realistically speaking, like, I'm just gonna ask, like, what are you doing watching anything if you, like, any Killing Floor footage if you don't feel the same way? I'm going to basically play Devil's Advocate, go outside once again, in the hopes, actually, that we get an area, because, you know, last time it worked, and it gave us some extra XP and some extra money. And the money is good, because we get to funnel it into upgrades. So that's kind of nice. Oh, there you go, you see? The 9,000 IQ play of pretend that you want to play outside, but actually you're secretly wanting an area, but the game doesn't understand sarcasm, and then you just get what you want anyway. I mean, this is an awful position, by the way, for us right now, because one of the cool things about this gun is the underbarrel grenade launcher, which, unfortunately, again, is a realistic depiction. I mean, it's still an unrealistic depiction of a gun like this, but it is more realistic than a lot of other titles, because as it turns out, in reality, you probably don't want to shoot a grenade, like, anywhere around yourself, because it will kill you. Like, it actually will just end your life. And in this game, it kind of works like it would in real life, where, yeah, like, if you shoot it too close, the grenade is just like, look, instead of, like, literally murdering you, the person that shot me, I am going to just, like, you know, have a cooking time, basically. I'm not going to explode automatically. There's, like, a fuse distance, fuse timer. I don't know what the actual term for it is, by the way, which is why I'm throwing around terms that don't even mean anything. But essentially, you know, things can't explode too close to you. Which is cool, except for when, you know, you're standing, like, where I was, and then there's a door they can come in. That's not so cool. Definitely reduces the utility that your explosives may have in that situation. But still, we got through. And again, it's not that surprising. Like, if nothing else, we're at least used to hard. And a lot of people aren't used to the hard difficulty. So once again, I'm gonna prop myself up a little bit and just be like, hey, you know what? The cool thing is that at the end of the day, everybody's different, and wouldn't you know it, it's pretty great. But more importantly, we could probably, if we try hard enough, we could eventually get to, you know, do Hell on Earth as, like, a regular thing. Now, I'm not the kind of person that would really want to do that to himself. I'm just putting that one out there. But you never know. So which boss do we want? I don't really know. I don't know the answer to this question. We got, like, 2 very good guns now. One of them is upgraded. I kind of thought, and I was incorrect, that we could upgrade the M16 another time. We don't really need to, but it is a fun weapon. I decided to get the grenade rifle, the medic grenade rifle, to specify, because it's quite good. I should probably just start calling it the HM Tech grenade rifle, like, kind of the full name, without the numbers. So it's Abomination. I'm not really, like, sure. There's one neat little trick. Well, I think of it as a neat little trick, even though it's, like, not that neat or very much of a trick anyway. But I think he's not, like, once his armor is gone, the medic, like, grenade stuff deals relatively good damage to him. At least that's, like, a thing in my brain. I just hate how he, like, slides on his, like, arms towards you. It's uncanny, is what it is. Oh, he still had his helmet. I guess it makes sense. We were going for center mass, apparently, all this time. We should be, like, cautious about our health, for sure. Because, you know, we don't have, like, any built-in healing. Our armor is, like, kind of evaporating as well. And he is kind of raging. I'm just thinking, do we want to switch, like, weapons? I don't think we need to. As it turns out, we didn't need to. Because I wanted to, if I was going to heal myself, I wanted to use the HM Tech grenade rifle so that I would also damage him at the same time. But there you go. We did all of our dailies. What a wonderful time. And all it took was playing it smart, trying to use the power of positivity to not mold so much. So there you go. You learn something new every day. Turns out if you don't lose your mind over a video game, you tend to do better at it. Who'd have thunk it? I'm sure scientists are baffled by this information. But, more importantly, I hope you had a good time. I know I did. And I will see you in the next one.